Welcome dear audience and students. Here I am Dr. Amjad Ali. In this video we will learn about the nature and sources of data for economic and financial analysis. Before moving toward the detailed discussion about the nature and the sources of the data for economic and financial analysis, let me give you some importance of the data. Data are critical for characterization, calibration, verification, validation and assessment of the model for predicting the long-run structure, durability and performance of the material in extreme environments. Without adequate data to verification and assessment of many models would have no purpose. An accurate structure durability of the model requires a database that consists of several master linkages of material system with a uniform data set that represents a multitude of test conditions and several applications. While discussing about the importance of the data, there are some real life scenarios which increases the importance of the data. The first one is the improves people's life. It is the data which enables government and authority to review that how much part of the population is poor and deprived and what are the policy options are available to improve the living standard of that part of the population. So it is the data which enables us to improve people's life. With the help of data we can make informed decisions, stop molehills from turning into the mountain. With the help of data we can find the solutions of the problem within the organization at a very point, so that these problems these hurdles are not gone bigger and bigger with the passage of time, which will destroy the whole business. So with the help of data we can find the solutions of the problem at a very point. Get the results you want. With the help of data you get the results actually you want. With the help of data you find the solution to the problem. If there is no data is available, so we cannot find that is there a problem is existed in the organization, in the firm, in the you can say in the society. So with the help of data actually we find there is a problem or not. So if there is a problem, then we can find the solution of that particular problem. Okay, with the help of data we can strengthen our ideas. So data enable to back up your arguments. Stop the guessing game. With the help of data we can make informed decisions, so there is no more space is available for making guesses. Be strategic in your approaches. With the help of data you adopt such strategies which are helpful for the organization, you can say for increasing the profitability of the organization. Know what you are doing well. With the help of data you can review your own policy. Is these policies are actually helpful for the organization or not? If not, then you can adopt some other policies. If these policies are helpful for the organization, then you move on. Okay, keep track of it all. With the help of data you can record the whole procedure, or you can say that the whole track of the organization. Okay, make the most of your money. With the help of the data you can review that what are the profitability of the last year and what are the expected profitability of this year, and what is the predicting profitability in coming years. Okay, assess the resources around you. With the help of data you can review that how much natural and human resources are available around you, so that these resources can be used for gaining more profitability for the organization. Okay, there are two main sources of the data. The first one is the internal sources, the second one is the external sources. While discussing about the internal sources, when data are collected from reports and records of the organization itself, it is known as internal sources. Like for example, a company publishes annual report on profit, loss, total sale, loans and wages. While discussing about the external source, when data are collected from outside the organization, it is known as external source. Like we have example here, if a tour and travel company obtain information on my tourism from Lahore Transportation Company or Lahore Transport Corporation, it would be known as external source of data. Okay, now we discuss about the main flavor of the data. There are two main flavors of the data. The first one is quantitative and the second one is qualitative. While discussing about the quantitative data, it deals with the numbers and the things you can measure objectively, like height, width, length, temperature, humidity, price, area, volume, income, consumption, and organization members. While discussing about the qualitative data, it deals with the characteristics and descriptions that cannot be easily measured by what can we say that can be observed subjectively, like smell, taste, texture, attractiveness, honesty, motive, love, hate, and color. These are some qualitative type of data. While discussing about the flavor of the qualitative data, there are different flavors of the qualitative data as well. That discrete data, it is a count that cannot be made more precise. Typically, it involves integers. For instance, that the number of children in your family is a discrete data because you are counting whole indivisible entities. You cannot have 2.5 kids, or you cannot have 1.3 pets or 1.5 buffaloes in your farm. So when you are counting the entities in a whole, you can say that whole space, that we are dealing with the discrete data. While there is the second flavor of the quantitative data, that is the continuous data. It could be divided and reduced to thinner and thinner level. For example, you can measure the height of your kids at progressively more precise scales, meters, centimeters, millimeters, and beyond that. So height is a continuous variable. So simply, when you count the things in a complete integer, that is a discrete data, and when you have an answer in normally you can say that in points, that is a continuous data. Okay, while discussing about the qualitative data flavor, there are some qualitative data flavor. The first one is the binomial data. Binary data place things in one of two mutually exclusive categories, that is right or wrong, true or false, or you can say accept or reject. Like, I get a few mangoes, individual mango, that are either sweet or sour. If I taste each mango can be classified in two categories, that are good or bad. So that would be known as a binary data. You can call it a binomial data. So there is a nominal data. If we are assigned individual item to name category that do not have implicit or natural value or rank, like we have some currency notes, we are counting of a person. So actually these numbers have not exactly the same, you can say that the same value which they are presenting. So this is known as the nominal data. Like, if I have 80 black and white implies, if count black or white in numbers or a total implies, this is known as the nominal data. Okay, ordinal data. While discussing about the ordinal data, when you arrange the data in order, or you can say that ordinal data in which item are assigned to a category that do have some kind of implicit or natural order, such as short, medium, and tall. So this is known as ordinal data. Like in a survey question that that asks us to rate an item on a 1 to 10 scale, with the 10 being the best, this implies that 10 is a better than 9, and 9 is a better than 8, and 8 is a better than 7, so on. So this is known as ordinal data. Okay, kinds of data with the with respective to econometric. There are a number of data which will be discussed in any type of research method lecture, but here we have main concern with the kinds of data with with respect to econometrics. So there are three main types of data with respect to econometric. The first one is the time series data, cross-section data, and pool data. Okay, let's discuss the detail of the time series data. The time series data. A time series is a set of observation on the value that variables take at different time. Such data may be collected at a regular time interval. It may be daily, weekly. While discussing about the daily, that is stock price, weather report; weekly, money supply figures; monthly, the unemployment rate, consumer price index; and quarterly, that we have a GDP data; annually, like we have a government budget, like quantitatively, that is a 5 years, or you can say that the census of the manufacturing, that is additionally, that is data related to the population census. The time series data may be quantitative or may be qualitative. While discussing about the quantitative, that is the exchange rate, price, number of shares outstanding. While discussing about the qualitative time series data, the day of the week, a survey of financial products purchased by a private individual over a period of time, a credit rating. These type of the data is a qualitative, but in a time series nature. We have a example here, a time series data, that like we have a annual data of the budget, government budget in millions. So here we can review that the time series. We have data from 2000 to 2016. Here we have data of the government budget. You can say that the government expected expenditure or government expected revenue, that is related to government budget. Okay, the problem that could be tackled by using the time series data: how the value of a country's stock index has varied with that country's macroeconomic fundamental. With the help of time series data, we can find the solution of this problem or this issue. How the value of a company's stock price has varied when it announced the value of its dividend payments. The effect on a country's exchange rate of an increase in its trade deficit. The problem with the time series data: there are some issues which the time series data have faced. The time series data are used heavily in econometric study. They present special problems for the econometricians. Like time series data have trend and non-stationary. The precise and technical meaning of the stationarity, that the data mean and variance do not vary systematically over time, but the trend and non-stationarity of the data can be discussed in a separate video. Okay, time series data do not provide a comparative analysis among different units in a single analysis. Okay, now we have the second type of econometric data, that is the cross-section data. Cross-section data are data on one or more variable collected at the same point in time, such as the census of the population. We have a data of different individual age, income, saving, and professions. Like we have an example here, that we have individual A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So here we have the age of individual A, income, saving, and profession. So Technically, this is known as cross-section data. We have here we have only 1 year data, and but we have individual different and different indicators are available. So this is known as the cross-section data. So cross-section data have the main issue of heterogeneity, like we have individual A is different from individual F, and individual G is different from individual C. So heterogeneity can be discussed in a separate video, but while taking the data for the econometric purpose, we have the data or cross-section as a homogeneity. There must be a homogeneity in the cross-section. Okay, problem that could be tackled by using the cross-section data, or cross-sectional data. The relationship between the company size and the return in investing its share. The relationship between a country's GDP level and the probability that the government will default on its sovereign debt. The third one type of the econometric data, that is the pool data. In pool data, we can say that it is the combination of time series and cross-section data. We have the data of 7 firms, their profit, their expenditure, their marketing, and their employees, and from the year 2001 to 2004. Like here we have the years are also changing and the firms are also changing, but we are getting the information of some structured indicator. So this is known as the pool data. Here we have the data example of the pool. Like in the first year we get the information of 3 firms A, B, C, and the next year we include firm D, and the next year we include the firm E and F, and the next year we include the firm G. In 2004 we have the data like say we have the profit data of the firm A, B, C, D, E, and F here from 2001 to 2004. So see here we are increasing firms with every year. So pool data give us information that we can increase or decrease the number of sections by increasing the number of years. Okay, problem that could be tackled by using the pool data. Pool data provide effective way of analyzing the effects of a new fiscal policies or monetary policy. It provides information of changes before and after the change in fiscal or monetary policy. In short, increasing the sample size, pool data often see how a key relationship is changes with the passage of time. You can say that over the time. Okay, there is another type of the data that is known as panel longitudinal, or you can say that the micro panel data. While discussing about the panel data, it is a special type of pool data in which the same cross section or unit is surveys over the time. Like we see that in pool data we can change the number of sections, but in panel data or longitudinal data, you can say the micro panel data, we cannot change the sections. We must have the same cross section over the time. So this is known as the panel data. Okay, like Pakistan Department of Commerce carries out a census of the firm related to their profits, expenditure, marketing, employees at a periodically you can say that periodic interval. At each periodic survey that the same firm, or you can say that here we have another type of the data, that is the panel or longitudinal or micro panel data. Okay, this is a special type of pool data in which the same cross section or unit is surveyed over the time. Like we have example that Pakistan Department of Commerce carries out a census of the firm related to their profit, expenditure, marketing, and implied at a periodic interval. Each periodic survey is the same firms is interviewed to find out if there has been any change in the profit, expenditure, marketing, or implies. So the panel data provides a very useful information on the dynamic of the household behavior. Like we have example here, like we have individual or the firm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 firm, and over the period of time 2001 to 2004 we have collected the same cross section or unit over the time. So this is known as the panel data. Okay, panel versus panel data has a two type, that is a panel balanced panel and unbalanced panel. Okay, a balanced panel has every observation from 1 to n observable in every period 1 to t. Like we have data here of the firm A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So we have a whole data set here. But in unbalanced panel we have some missing data. Like we have in the first the firm A don't have a data in 2002, and the firm B don't have data in 2001 and 2004. So unbalanced panel mean that there are some missing observation in the data. Okay, difference between the pool data and the panel data. The pool data occurs when we have a time series of cross sections, but the observation in each cross section do not necessarily refer to the same unit, while panel data refer to samples of the same cross-sectional units observed at a multiple points in time. Okay, data sources. There are different sources of the data. The first one, but the main two are important data source. That first one is the primary data. Data may be qualitative or data may be quantitative. The second one is secondary data. While discussing about the primary data, these are the data that are collected for the first time by an investigator, or you can say that the researcher, for a specific purpose. Primary data are pure in the sense that no statistical operations have been performed on them, and they are original. An example of primary data is the census of Pakistan. Okay, the second type, or you can say the source of the data, that is the secondary data. The secondary data may be quantitative or qualitative. Okay, they are the data that are sourced from some place that has originally collected it. This means that this kind of data has already been collected by some researcher or investigator in the past and is available either in a published or unpublished form. This information is impure, as statistical operation may have been performed on them already. An example of an information available on the Government of Pakistan, the Department of Finance website, or in you can say other repositories or books or journals. Okay, there are some sources of the primary data. The first one is interviews. It may be structured or unstructured, observations, questionnaires. Sorry. Interviews, observation, and questionnaire, these are a very lengthy and a very you can say that a very informative topics which will be discussed or which will be covered in a separate video. Individual interview or observation and questionnaire, we will develop a single video on three topics. Okay, sources of the data. The data used in empirical analysis may be collected by the government agencies like Department of Commerce and international agencies like IMF or the World Bank, a private organization like we have the Standard and Poor Corporation, or an individual. Literally, there are thousands of such agencies which are collecting data for the research purpose, like the internet, like we have the Pakistan Stock Exchange website. So there are number of sources, like we have books. In the books, previous data is available, like we have journals, official website of the organizations. Accuracy of the data, this is the more important for the researcher, that the how much accurate the data he or she has collected. Although plenty of data are available for economic research, the quality of the data is often not good. There are several reasons for that. The first one is, as noted, that most social science data are non-experimental in nature. Therefore, there is the possibility of observational errors, either of omissions or you can say that commissions. Second, even in experimentally collected data, errors of measurement arise from approximations and roundouts. The third, in questionnaire type surveys, the problem of non-response can be serious. So a researcher is lucky to get a 40% response to a questionnaire analysis. Based on such, partial response may not truly reflect the behavior of 60% who did not respond, thereby leading to what is known as a sample, you can say that, selectivity bias. So this will decrease the accuracy of the data. Okay, fourth, the sampling method used in obtaining the data may vary so widely that it is often difficult to compare the result obtained from the various samples. Fifth, the financial and economic data are generally available at a high aggregate level. Such highly aggregate data may not tell us much about the individual or micro units that may be the ultimate objective of the study. 6. Because of the confidentiality, certain data can be published only in a high aggregate form, so that will decrease the accuracy of the data. The last one, the researcher should always keep in mind that the result of research are not only as good as the quality of the data. It is the accuracy of the data which actually decide the quality of the research conducted by the researcher. So here is all about the nature and the sources of the data for economic and financial analysis. So see you with another video. Ciao.